We have just entered into Lent, and we know that during Lent there are several practices that we are invited to do, and that is prayer, fasting, almsgiving. And we love at this time to think about what to pray, how to pray, when to pray, and what kind of fast we would like to do. We know that it's not just fasting from food or abstaining from meat on Fridays. Sometimes we're a bit creative and we're thinking, maybe we should fast from angry words, or fast from letting our tempers get control of us, right? And I think that's a very good way of, in a way, journeying in disciplining our souls and our bodies. What do I mean? Because we have got almsgiving as well. So in today's first reading, it ties up all these three aspects. In our first reading from the prophet Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah says, "They seek me day after day, they long to know my ways." And this seeking is that prayer, because prayer is essentially voicing out the deepest desires of our hearts. And the deepest desires of our hearts, usually, is wanting to connect to God in a deeper and more intimate way, in the way that God would like our relationship to be. Just like we all have expectations about relationships, right? With our spouse, with our children, with our best friend. We have got certain expectations, what that would look like. And because God is love, and therefore there is a certain way to love. And that first step is really to desire God, to seek God day after day. And through prayer, through connection, time, intentional, dedicated time to be with God. So this period of Lent is that beautiful time to say, Lord, every day, I'm going to set aside some time just for you and you alone. Not just for me to just put up my petitions and ask you what I want, but really to just be with you. Yeah, so prayer. But that's where fasting comes in. Fasting, and the whole reading talks about fasting, right? And the Lord says, fasting of this kind, well, if your heart is not with me, then all this fast is just for show. And so what fasting really means is I'm able to let go and carve out that space. It could be for food, it could be for prayer time, it could be building relationships by not being dysregulated and being angry and all that. And so this fasting is really the training of the body and therefore of the soul to be able to let go and to carve out some space. Yeah. So you can see how that's also linked with prayer, because we need to make space to carve out intentional time for God. And fasting is a very good practice. And then you will hear that the Lord is inviting us to give alms. And here it talks about break the unjust fetters, let the oppressed go free, share your bread with the hungry, clothe the naked, and then your light will shine like the dawn, and your wound will be quickly healed over. So almsgiving is really to give from the heart, after we've carved out some space in our heart, and to give it to another. It could be in the form of giving bread, giving time, clothing the naked. This is what this carving out, letting go, giving to another is not just about carving out, letting go. It's about being able to gift, the sharing. In that way, then the light will shine. The light of Christ within us will shine. We will become light itself. And then our shadows will be no more. Because where's the light going to come from? The light's going to come from within. So no more shadows, no more wounds. Your wounds will be quickly healed over. All the past wounds that we experience, all the difficulties, all the sadness, all the injustices, we feel victimized and all that. I think once our heart is given over to God in prayer, able to be carved out through fasting and then gifting in almsgiving, in a way our heart will be transformed. And in this year of St. Francis, the Jubilee year, we take St. Francis as a model, that he always had time to pray in dilapidated churches, in caves, to enter into the cave of his heart, so that he can let go of what he knows is not good for him, and then his heart is always looking out for the other. In fact, the beautiful thing about his caves, if you go visit the pilgrimage sites to the hermitages, where we still have the original caves of Francis, he liked to pick caves that are in the mountains, but in the V of the mountain, where it's very interesting, because in the V of the mountain, it is like retreating into God in this quiet space. But because it's the V of a mountain, you're looking at the plains where the villages are. That while we're retreating into God and enjoying God's presence and filling us with God's grace and love, we know that after this time of prayer, we go back into the world, because the eyes are always set on the villages in the plains, and to go back and to gift others with this love, this grace, this power of God. And during this Lent, may this Lenten time be our entering intentionally into the cave of our hearts, where we have this intimate connection with God, but then we bring God to others after that.